There are so many different kinds of foreign hostesses. I know women who were lawyers and came over for a break. I know girls who were in Bangkok on the hippie trail and they came over to make some other money. It's such a broad spectrum, the girls who are over there. The only thing that brings them over there is money.
The only reason I came to Hostess in Japan was to pay off my debts, my student loan and credit card debts. And I mean, I could have done it in Canada, but probably would have taken me, you know, over a year working maybe 2 jobs.
Alors, je suis arrivée ici comme un enfant. Alors, j'ai dû comme tout apprendre. J'avais aucune idée de qu'est-ce que serait ce voyage. Mais une chose est sûre, je m'imaginais pas que ce serait ça.
I was really naive and didn't really realize that hostessing was something that was going to affect the rest of my life. I just thought it was great. I couldn't believe that they were paying me to drink and party and just sit around and talk to people. I thought it was just fabulous.
Culture shock when I first got to Tokyo, just because of all the crowds everywhere, all the people, and not being able to walk freely on the sidewalk, and having to kind of dodge people and being squashed into the subways. Basically, the only time you're by yourself is in the bathroom. My name is Hillary, and I'm from Vancouver. I'm 24. I've been hostessing for 6 months now. One Eye Jack's is a hostess club in Tokyo. The club I work at now, you're making about 210 Canadian dollars a night. And we also make money by drinking. When I first heard about hostessing, I thought, what exactly is that? You know, what do you have to do, kind of thing. It does sound sleazy because it sounds like maybe like an escort or something like that, that maybe sex is involved, or, you know, something like that. You don't really know what it is, but, you know, now that I've done it, and obviously it's not sleazy at all, it's just talking, you know. And sometimes I can't speak very good English, so it makes it difficult. Well, it's not normal. I mean, certain men, you know, they're paying to talk to you. And so it's just strange that if you don't like them, you can't just get up and walk away. You know, you have to pretend that their conversation is interesting to you.
昨年の警察の統計によれば、ホステスクラブの数は約東京都内だけで1万1000店になります。もしかすると女性の経済的な地位が上がれば、ホステスをする人は少なくなるかもしれません。
Years ago, there's mostly a lot of Asian girls who comes to Japan. I think one reason is like it's near, Japan is near to these other Asian countries. And now a lot of foreigners started to come over, like Americans, Europeans, Canadians, you know, and Russian too. Of course, we hire mostly blonde girls.
It was a prestige thing. If a Japanese man had a Western woman, especially a good-looking, tall, blonde one, they were seen by their peers as possessing something that other people may not be able to have, something different. When I first started hostessing in about '91, there was a lot of money to be made, and There weren't a lot of foreign girls there, so clubs hired easily girls like me and paid well. I could make $1,000 in a night. I was being paid an hourly wage, and then I was getting tips from the customers, and I was getting bonuses for drinks sold. The customers were interested in talking to foreigners, otherwise they would have gone to a million other clubs with just Japanese women. I think I learned early on that if the customer believed that I was interested in him, or if he believed, that he might get somewhere with me, I got tips more and I would make more money. Right away, I sort of figured out that this was the game I was going to play, and because that's why I was there to make money. But I think for the most part, it was really hard. Coming from the West, we don't cater to our men like that anymore. It just doesn't happen. So being thrown into this situation where I was suddenly expected to peel grapes and light cigarettes was completely different.
I think that the hostess industry itself came from an offshoot of the geisha world. When the customers, they wanted something new, and the hostesses gave them a cheaper version, the economy geisha, so to speak. It provided similar companionship without all the frills, and along with that came a cheaper bill at the end of the night.
À toutes les fois que je vais travailler, j'ai comme l'impression que les gens peuvent deviner que je m'en vais travailler comme hôtesse parce que je suis blanche et parce que je suis très chic. Je sais qu'ici, au Japon, c'est pas un métier qui est respecté, c'est un métier illégal. Alors, je voudrais passer inaperçu.
Well, hostessing is illegal, I guess. You're not supposed to work in Japan where there's alcohol. So it's not hostessing that's illegal, it's that there's alcohol involved, and it's night work. Because, the police could come in at any moment and all the girls would be probably deported. But it doesn't work like that. It's hush-hush, but everybody knows about it.
Okay, shobai. Mizu means water, and shobai means business. So mizu shobai is water business. Water business we call something related with alcohol. It's not stable like water flow. It's called mizu shobai.
In the mizu shobai, there are a lot of different kinds of clubs, bars that offer different kinds of transactions. But the realm of sex or sex-related service is often the biggest connotation. And what distinguishes the hostess is that the medium that she has for interacting with the customer is primarily talk.
I don't think that hostessing could happen in a Western culture because men are really pushy there, and they want something. They're paying for it, so they should get something, kind of thing.
A hostess, like other mizu shobai women, is obtained by money rather than through romance or marriage. And mizu shobai women are valued for the way she makes a customer feel. And since most customers are men, as one customer said, a good hostess makes me feel like a man. And wives I spoke to would often acknowledge the value and the charms of hostess, even while differentiating themselves from that kind of woman.
Well, at first, I was kind of shy. I was like, oh, these girls are on stage and, they don't have tops on, and what are they going to think about us? But everybody really separates it, like it's a show time. There's like a definite line between the hostesses and the dancers. And it is sexual, but I think Japanese culture is a little bit different from Western culture, where like that kind of thing is not as taboo as maybe it would be in Canada.
Working in Japan, working in that era and in the hostess clubs, we had a lot of very powerful men come through, whether it be businessmen or politicians or mafia. You walk into this life that's dominated by men. So you begin to become attracted to that because that becomes your reality. Sometimes you became someone and you couldn't separate yourself from that woman's feelings. The customer-hostess relationship was one based on falseness. There was nothing of an emotional bond. It was all fiscal. It was all monetary. The money that you'd see pulled from pockets would be $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, and that was what they would spend in one night. I had a lot of problems with doing that and with trying to understand that it was acceptable.
Most of the family, they don't want the daughter to work at night because it's not respectable job in Japan. And especially like me, I graduated college and I had some degrees, so my family really expect me to work daytime to use my career.
Je m'appelle Nancy Caroline Perron et j'ai 27 ans. Ma famille ne sait pas du tout que je suis hôtesse ici au Japon. Elle pense que je suis waitress dans un restaurant parce que c'est plus simple et mes parents n'ont pas d'angoisse quand ils pensent que je suis juste waitress. Je suis venue ici au Japon pour étudier plutôt une danse particulière, une danse contemporaine avec Kazuo Ono. Parce que j'avais pas assez de sous pour subvenir à mes besoins ici. Je savais que je serais soit waitress dans des restaurants ou dans des clubs où j'avais entendu parler du métier d'hôtesse qui était très facile à dénicher quand tu es une jeune fille blanche. Alors, j'ai débuté il y a 1 mois environ. Et la vie est très chère ici à Tokyo, c'est incroyable, mais j'ai vraiment besoin de ce travail-là. Je paie le double pour cette petite chambre qu'un grand 4,5 ou un 5,5 à Montréal. Pour moi, c'est un gros changement de rythme parce que je suis une fille de jour. Je me lève à 6 heures le matin au Canada. Et maintenant, souvent, je me lève à midi, 2 heures de l'après-midi. Alors, j'ai pas l'impression de vivre. J'ai l'impression juste de travailler. Alors, c'est un gros changement dans ma vie. Moi, je voyage en vélo constamment. Je préfère le vélo. C'est mieux ici à Tokyo parce que le subway, il y a trop de monde et je viens folle. J'arrête à Gotanda, je me maquille dans un restaurant et après ça, je suis prête à aller travailler à Ginza. C'est le premier soir que j'ai débuté à travailler dans ce métier-là. C'est étrange parce que j'ai été un peu séduite par user de sa féminité. Je suis une femme, alors je trouvais ça séduisant. Mais en même temps, j'étais très épuisée car je n'avais jamais autant souri de ma vie en 4 heures. J'avais jamais été aussi fatiguée quand j'ai fini de travailler. Je crois que je suis assez en demande à mon bar où est-ce que je travaille parce que j'ai la particularité de parler français et anglais. Et souvent, les hommes d'affaires ont des rendez-vous en France et ils aiment bien dire « bonjour, comment ça va » en français. Mais les heures sont longues. Dans la simplicité, parfois, c'est long. C'est étrange pour une Canadienne d'user juste de son charme, de juste sourire et c'est tout. C'est très étrange.
The history of hostess clubs, as far as I understand it, is they really sprang up after the war when Japan went through its first burst of economic prosperity, which was in the end of the 60s. And a lot of people will say that hostess clubs are actually coming on the heels of a longer tradition of geisha culture. Although geishas are quite different from hostesses. But the notion of having a place and a type of woman who will entertain men outside of the home and not really be a port or an impingement to marriage is something that goes way back to at least the Edo period, 1603 to 1868.
From the very first time I saw geisha, I was just fascinated by them. I just wanted to keep this image. I know I'm seeing something special, something from the past. The word geisha itself describes exactly what they are. The gei, meaning art, and the sha, person. So, I mean, you're looking at an artist. You know, it's an artist of traditional culture. Main differences between a hostess and a geisha would be that the geisha has spent her youthful years training in tea ceremony, maybe shamisen or singing, dancing, of course. Sometimes poetry, flower arrangement. Hostesses, on the other hand, are usually hired on the spot for their looks, their height, and probably even their bust size. The price of a night out with a couple geisha drinking probably anywhere from $700 to $800 Canadian. I'm not doing that every night, but you know, once a month. I do it because I feel privileged to be able to do it, first of all. I like to be entertained by someone who has 300 to 400 years of tradition behind them. It makes you feel special, especially being a foreigner. So I do my part in helping the tradition on.
In Japan, when we do business, relationship is very important. So that's why we go to a hostess club to make a good relationship with our client. And of course, every man wants to talk to girls.
Enjoy と仕事とは日本の場合は一緒。ミックスしてる場合があるから、古くからの伝統で家でもてなす、プライベートでもてなすということが非常に安っぽく。日本人の場合はお金を相手に対してお金をかけることが非常にいいもてなしだからその一晩で100万使っても明くる日に1億儲かる方がいいから。
It's very difficult to ask my clients honest opinion in the daytime. We eat dinner together and talk about business. It's really serious meeting, but we drink alcohol. They start to say something that they can't say in the daytime or sometimes it's a secret. After 2 hours, I get a lot of information from my clients and business is over. I would like to give my clients a nice time after dinner.
A hostess facilitates business transactions in a lot of different ways. She's the one who ensures that the evening out is going to be fun, memorable, and achieve its goals, which usually are to make sure a business deal comes through. And for customers who come in and they're tired, and they know that they're supposed to be communicating. A hostess who can simply keep up a stream of conversation, even though it may not be very profound or very witty, is respected and really valued for that alone.
Lots of Japanese men go to alcohol club because they have too much stress in the office. You know, they have to work very hard like machine, and even go home, you know, it's small room and small apartment, and wife always expects something to him, and kids want to play with him, and too much stress in Japan, especially for the men, and they cannot get long holiday. So, you know, even a couple of hours a day, they can forget about business and family, talk with hostess, you know, having good time, and they come to the club, and I think wife also know about it.
やっぱり嫌味の一つも言うかもしれないです。はい。ある程度は仕方がないんじゃないかと思いますね。今の日本の社会としてはそう思います。そうです。はい。
やめて、例えば何か買ってもらうとか、そういう交換条件で許します。わかりました。どうもありがとうございました。
パーセンテージでいうと 80% は、男性が奥さんに嘘をついてます。日本人ってのは心の快感も欲しい。心が入ってセックスをしたい。コールガールは確かにセックスができます。それは心が入ってない。で、お金のあるリッチメンはそれはもう嫌だと。自分の好きなタイプ、自分が心で好きだと思った人にお金を出してたくさん使ってですね、それから自分のものにセックスをするという、それがホステスです。コールガールとの違いはそこだと思いますね。
This is the area that we call Kitasinshi. You can see all clubs, a lot of hostess clubs, and it's a high-class place in Osaka. The job of a mama is managing the girls. You have to make sure that the guests will have a good time in the club and make them come back again. The role of a mama is a sort of a matchmaker where I figure out which girl is supposed to sit down with that client.
Whiskey? Yeah. Thank you. Where I'm from? I'm from Canada, Montreal.
A hostessing job is a difficult job. It's adjusting to different kinds of character. Some guests are very nice, some guests are very rude, some guests are so serious or intelligent, and you have to make a good conversation.
What is your favorite types of men?
Maybe the Japanese man?
Yeah.
Puis souvent, ils vont me dire, OK, bon, ça suffit, parle plus, là, on veut apprendre l'anglais, on veut pas savoir ta vie. Et puis, je sais jamais sur quel plan jouer. Est-ce que je dois être intelligente, beaucoup de conversation ou simplement sourire? Qu'est-ce qu'ils veulent? La mentalité, elle est très différente. Et je crois qu'ils veulent juste que je souris.
Sometimes you can have really good conversations, and again, you're talking to people that you probably wouldn't talk to normally, so you get different perspectives about everything. What it's like to be a salaryman and just what it's like to live in Japan or be Japanese.
What is your job? What do you do?
It can be really interesting, but sometimes it can be really, really boring.
I don't think I could have done it without drinking. Drinking really loosened everybody up.
Where are you from?
By the end of the night, everyone, you know, if they weren't having a good time in the beginning, they started having a good time because they were all getting drunk. I would get a commission on number of drinks that I could drink and get the customer to drink. So really, you know, you sit down for 4 straight hours and you drink as much as you can. The secret in the club between the girls was to do speed in the washroom, in between drinks. And that would allow you to drink more. So the more you drank, the more you got paid, the more speed you did. And it was the beginning of a big, long road of heartache with alcohol and drugs.
A hostess will tell any man who's a customer that he's wonderful, charming, handsome, the perfect kind of potential lover, patron. Why would any man buy this? They go in part because there might be a chance that this woman would fall for them. There are stories of hostesses or mamas having relationships with customers. But even more importantly, they like the rush, they like the attention, it's a big ego boost. So going to a hostess club where it's guaranteed that a woman is going to tell you you're wonderful is really very pleasurable.
Yeah, Western hostesses are like, I'm doing it for business. They are very straight. So maybe I would prefer to go to a Japanese hostess club.
I mean, they know they're paying, but they think that it's a regular club and that you're actually, you know, maybe their girlfriend or something like that.
Have you had a Japanese boyfriend?
Have I? No. Just
Well, I tell them, like, no, you know, this is my job and this is what I do. What you should do is kind of play along with that fantasy world with them, because obviously they don't want to be told that it's your job.
How about you? Japanese boyfriend?
Yeah, some.
Yes, of course.
I never became a super hostess. I wasn't able to cater and let go of that side of myself and become this man's fantasy.
I know she has a boyfriend, so different age, you know, and different tour. I want like a private, you know, relationship, you know. But so she's not so long stay, you know, only short time stay and then going back.
A lot of hostesses were attracted to NIKO. Both what he looked like, I think, and the money that he had.
I love the music.
Yeah, he told me all the time that he was in love with me, you know, over whiskey or over, you know, some, I don't know, he'd have some other girl beside him and she'd go to the bathroom and he'd say, but I love you, you know, I love you, you're the one I love. Like, how can you love me? You don't even know me. He didn't know me.
No. Okay, again, Dana, I like you. No. Okay, next, you know. That time, good feeling, you know, challenge feeling. I like it. If we're easy, I think not so strong.
Seeing him come into the club time and time and time again, and I would think to myself, well, you are this really interesting, nice, congenial person, yet you've got this deep-seated loneliness, obviously. Otherwise, why would you be coming here? And that was what turned me off. That's what I didn't like about him.
J'ai rencontré un copain japonais de mon âge ici, dans cette maison, dans une Genji house. Et tout de suite, je suis tombée amoureuse parce qu'il est très intelligent, très secret, mystérieux. Il étudie la philosophie, c'est très intéressant. On aime les mêmes choses. Oh, I like the Tokyo guys.
Tokyo guys? You like Tokyo guys, not one Tokyo guy.
Just only one. And I like Mais ça reste difficile, c'est une autre mentalité. Souvent, les hommes japonais ne sont pas gentils quand tu souhaites qu'ils soient gentils, quand tu souhaites qu'ils t'emmènent juste un petit peu de tendresse. Non, c'est quand lui décide. Je reste parce que j'ai l'impression qu'il m'aime beaucoup. Il veut venir à Montréal aussi. Bon, je crois que ça va lui faire du bien. You can pay me?
No.
Mon copain, il n'aime pas que je travaille comme hôtesse. Ça, c'est sûr, il déteste. Il me dit toujours, non, Nancy, les gens avec qui tu travailles au bar sont pas gentils avec toi. S'ils sont gentils, c'est parce qu'ils veulent parler de sexe. Ils viennent jamais pour tes beaux yeux, ils viennent pour le sexe.
Yakuza is a Japanese word for mafia, organized crime. the Yakuza are the ones that bring in the big money. You know, the girls that are working are hoping to be placed at their table because they're the ones that tip, like, extraordinary amounts of money in a short time, and then they're off to the next club. So everyone wants a part of them. I had been working at this club for maybe a month when I first met this one man who came in, and he was a really powerful, well-connected man in the Yakuza, the mob. He always wanted to sit with me when he came in, and every time he left, he would tip me like $1,000 or $800 every time he left. So right away, he was like my favorite customer because he was paying me good money.
Oh, well, I could.
This customer started coming in more and more regularly and started bringing in gifts for me all the time, and you know, jewelry and watches and rings and earrings and expensive things, you know, and things started really progressing. The manager at the club came to me one night and said, "Do you know who this man is? He's really up there in the Yakuza, and he's really, you know, we fear him. If you keep accepting these gifts, sooner or later you're gonna have to give something back." And it wasn't really until then that I realized that I had really dug myself into a hole and I didn't know how to get out of it. He always wanted to take me out shopping, and he wanted to take me out on Dohan.
A Dohan is a dinner date with one of your customers. So they were wonderful, usually, because they would take you to these beautiful, lavish, expensive restaurants that you would never in your lifetime afford to go to. So you'd go for dinner, have a beautiful meal, and then take that customer into your club. That's all it was.
I never do the Dohans because that's totally business. So I hate Dohans. Dohan, if you do Dohan, they get a lot of money from the club. So I never do that because this girl think I'm a you know, really customer, right? Not friend.
Hi, Hitoshi. It's Hillary calling. Genki? Oh, good. Well, I was just wondering if you wanted to go for dinner maybe tomorrow night? My club, One Eye Jacks, you have to do 3 Dohans a month. And you get about 2,500 yen to go on a Dohan, which is about $32 Canadian, maybe? You're bringing business into the club. Okay, so we'll meet at Almond in Roppongi at the corner. Almondo. Okay, see you tomorrow.
One day I have so many Dohan. Telephone, NIKO, please come in tonight, Dohan. Okay. Okay, Nanji, what time, where? Okay. After a few minutes, call, NIKO, please. Many appointments, I can't. You know, and then I'm call again, hostess. So and then 3 girls, 4 girls, invite same restaurant. And then together dinner, you know, and then all girls different club. So okay, I go one, and then 15 minutes, and then next girl, Dohan, and then Dohan, and Dohan, like that.
If I was ever on a Dohan, it didn't bother me at all that other people, Japanese people saw me, because it's a part of the culture. They're on Dohans all the time, especially in that area, the entertainment area. If it's, you know, between 7 and 8 o'clock, everybody there is on a Dohan, basically. But it bothered me when foreigners saw me. I thought that at times, too, when I saw a girl, tall, Western girl with a short little Japanese man. I thought, oh. So, hence, I made sure if I went on a dinner date with a customer, he was never ugly. He was always reasonably attractive.
You gonna come back to the club with me? Because there's a new dance show. You should see it. It's really, really good. Yeah. That's nice.
I like this girl. That's why I invite. That's why I not cancel. But I know this girl only business, no? Together going to club. Of course, good commission, you know, I know.
Mais c'est fascinant de voir les hommes dans le métro dans le jour, les hommes d'affaires avec leurs petites valises, très sérieux, très gentleman avec moi. Et quand j'arrive au bar, alors je verse 2-3 verres de whisky et puis là, ça commence à se transformer et ça devient des machos. Ils oublient leur gentillesse et ils vont direct au but, ils vont te toucher. Mais je dois toujours imposer que je suis pas une prostituée. Le whisky amène les hommes à se transformer. Et ça, je crois que c'est pas juste au Japon. Je travaille dans le quartier de Ginza. Je travaille avec une clientèle exclusive, avec beaucoup d'argent. Et c'est des gens qui peuvent se permettre une soirée dans ce bar parce que je crois que le prix d'entrée est très élevé. C'est tout carrément la mentalité des hommes, des vieux hommes japonais qui ont beaucoup d'argent, qui croient que tout est permis. Et j'ai envie de leur dire non, c'est pas parce que tu as beaucoup d'argent que tout est permis pour toi. Tous les soirs, j'ai une demande pour aller à Kyoto, accompagner un homme d'affaires pour ses affaires et passer la journée avec lui à Kyoto et peut-être même la soirée et la nuit. Comment je réagis à ça? Je dis toujours oui, parce que c'est pas bon de dire non. Le client risque de dire maman-maman, trop compliqué, cette hôtesse-là, je veux pas la revoir ici. Alors je dis toujours oui, mais j'oublie toujours.
The yeses mean no, the no means go to hell sometimes. It's confusing, but I guess that's part of the fun of the world. Nothing's really straightforward, except when you get the bill at the end of the month.
What you have happening in the mizu shobai is a real commodification of fantasy. Fantasies are being produced and created to draw in men to come again and pay their money to have this fantasy acted out. And yet, it's also about the creation of something that appears not to be money at all, but something that's delightful and wonderful and exquisite and that transcends those things that are as mundane and dirty as money.
I mean, tonight when I was walking through the Hostess district, I saw a bar. It was called Bar Maybe. I think that just summed it up perfect, you know? Maybe I'll get lucky, maybe I won't. I just asked her, how's business? And she said, well, it's been better. I said, you're making good money? Not making any, she said. That's the feeling I think customers get when they go into a Hostess bar. They're thinking of maybe, is there a possibility of something more than just customer-hostess relationship? As compared to the geisha bar with tea houses, they don't sell the idea of possible sex. I think they sell the image of romance or just maybe something untouchable that everyone desires to have a piece of. You know, it's totally different.
One more.
I've been asked to have sex with a customer few times, I guess. In a way, they say, you know, I want to go to sleep with you tonight. And you say, no. And then the next question is usually, what kind of food do you like? They don't usually push the issue at all. I've seen tons falling asleep. Moshi moshi. Who is this? Hiro. Oh, hi, how are you? Yeah, I remember you. Okay. Bye-bye. customer I don't remember, but that's okay. I'll remember when I see the face, hopefully.
So years and years later, I was living in Vancouver. NIKO called me up one day, out of the blue, and said, look, I just love you so much. And we'd never had any kind of relationship at all. I've just grant me the opportunity to talk to you. I just want to meet you somewhere and talk to you. Anywhere in the world. So I thought, well, I've never been to Bali. He arrived the next day. He walked in the door, and he had this beautiful bracelet for me. And I thought right away, he's already giving me gifts. He's gonna want something. And I said, before he even said hello, I said, look, I can't stay. I've only got 3 days before I go home.
No, NIKO, listen. I don't have time. I not stay 2 weeks. Maybe couple of days I go home. Why? You and me promised 2 weeks stay here, this hotel. No, I don't have time. Why? And then little bit bad feeling, you know.
He said, look, just marry me for 1 year. Just try it for 1 year. And if at the end of 1 year you're miserable and you don't want to be with me anymore, I'll give you $1 million. And that's it. You can just go on your way and lead your life.
But I try. If she look to me, I give $1 million. But she chose only boyfriend, not money.
He didn't know how else to beg and plead with me. It was the Japanese society, it was all about money. So for him, it was natural that a girl would say, oh, okay, if you're gonna pay me, I'll do it. So I flew home, and that was it. We had no contact for years and years and years to come.
I mean, $1 million is a lot of money. It just depends, you know, what you can allow yourself to do, kind of thing. I think maybe that's what Tokyo does. It's like pushes you to kind of see how far you'll go.
This Yakuza man, he had asked me to go to a hotel with him many times, and I had always said no. But I had to either put out or run away, basically hide from him. Being so naive and being so swept away by the money and the power that this man had, I agreed to go with him to a hotel. He took me to a really fancy hotel in the city, and it was a huge suite, and it was decked out with flowers and fruit trays, and I was really afraid and nervous. I didn't know what was to be expected of me. I didn't know what was going to happen. A few minutes later, he came out of the bathroom, and I looked at him again, and all of a sudden, this fear went through me. He was covered from neck to ankle to wrist in tattoos. And I remember looking at his chest. He had a round tattoo on his chest of a geisha with a dagger going through the back of her head and out her eye, and blood. And I remember that image really scared me, and I was really, you know, thinking, what am I doing here? Who is this man, and how do I get out of here? But by then, of course, it was pretty much too late. We ended up having sex that night, and it lasted for about 20 seconds. And at the end, I was showered with more gifts than he had given me up until then. Like, he dumped this shopping bag onto the coffee table, and out fell all these velvet boxes. One big wooden box with a Rolex in it that was just solid diamonds all the way around. The face was covered in sapphires. And then this stack of money. I thought to myself, wow, that was pretty easy. That was, you know, wow, I can do this. This 20 seconds and a Rolex that's worth $60,000 and 10,000 cash.
there's a big temptation, because especially when the guests offer a girl, like, you know, we're gonna pay you 1,000,000 yen, which is $10,000, you know. So for one night stand, I think the girls would do it. And we wouldn't know, you know, because we don't go home with these girls, we don't check their house, whatever. So, you know, but of course, sometimes the Japanese or the guests, they just love to speak. They say sometimes when they're drunk, that's the only time when we find about that. And once we learn about that, that's the time we fire the girls.
Rich guy do anything to get a girl. Maybe buy cars, take them to overseas trip, rent a house for her. Yes, that's normal if you have a lot of money.
This Yakuza man ended up buying me an apartment in Japan. It was a beautiful, really expensive, really large apartment for Japanese standards. And he wanted me to live there and be his mistress. That meant being basically at his beck and call, and whenever he wanted to stop by, he could. I remember staying there a few nights and realizing suddenly that I was so alone and so out of my league, and I was dreading the fact that he was going to come there any day and want to have sex again. And I thought, my God, like, I've got to get out of this. I remember taking money out of an account that he had set up for me and packing up whatever I could. I went to the airport and I flew away. I was afraid that he was going to follow me, and I was afraid, thinking that he might be after me, and just really scared. I lived on a little tiny island in Thailand for probably 2 months, just sort of shivering on my big pile of money, thinking like, oh my God, this is nuts. That I had slept with someone for money, and that's what it boiled down to, and that's what was so disturbing to me, and still is.
Ah, ce soir, c'était comme d'habitude. Je rencontre au moins un client japonais quand je fais mon métier d'hôtesse qui me arnaque, qui me squeeze, me tripote, et il me parle de sexe. C'est pas nouveau. C'est dénigrant pour la femme, mais surtout pour une femme qui habite au Canada, qui n'est pas habituée à ça. C'est un métier qui est vraiment pas facile. En fait, je déteste le métier d'hôtesse.
I think the geisha world is disappearing. With Japan becoming more modernized and westernized, and the economic bubble bursting, the geisha clients are becoming fewer and fewer. Not to mention the up-and-coming generation has very little, if not zero, interest in the world itself. Japan has this fascination of the new, and the new to them is not short-legged women in beautiful kimonos with white faces. It's a nice, big-busted lady with long legs and a miniskirt.
So I kept going back to Japan because of the allure and the seductiveness of such an international cosmopolitan lifestyle. And then the last time I went back, I was 26 years old, and that's why I only lasted a few weeks. I remember thinking, oh, you're a hostess at 26 years old. What a loser you must be. Sometime during that time, I developed this great deal of respect for NIKO. We were friends outside of the hostessing world. It didn't cross over, and he was in love, basically. He was with someone. So there was none of that pressure on me. And that is when I finally saw him or viewed him as a friend rather than a customer.
Yeah, a little bit looked Dana, you know, and then slowly again. Yeah. This kind of love and then Dana, different feeling, you know, different. True feeling, you know.
It was just through a friendship that love comes from that. I mean, it doesn't always turn into romantic love, but I think in most cases, if you have two people who, you know, who really care for each other, you begin to love that person. So we got married in June 1995. Maya was born in September 1997. She's 2. And yeah, we're very happily married, aren't we?
Yeah.
And it's great. We have this beautiful little girl who's just, we're so in love with her. Yeah, aren't we? And yeah, I mean, financially, things are a lot different than they were when we got married, and I'm working almost full time.
Nice dress.
Nice dress. Thank you.
Now no money, you know, lost, gone. That's why Japanese economy, and then many big company bankrupt. No money. It's okay.
We went through a difficult time. We're still in that time, but I look at it as I'm so happy that this has happened, because for me, there's no doubt in my mind that I want to be with him. But if he hadn't lost his money, and if it hadn't forced me to have to work and for a few months even support the family, I may have always been asking myself, did I do it for the money or not? And now I know with all certainty that that was not the case.
I was looking for something to make me happy, and I didn't know what it was, but I was looking for it in money or drugs or alcohol. None of it was working, and I've realized since I lived there that I had no idea that those answers came from within you. They come from inside, and you can't buy them. You can have all the money in the world and still be completely lost in your life. Now I'm in recovery and clean and sober, and the bottom line is, what I realized today is, today I'm happy because I've found love in my life. I've found that I can love myself, and I can love someone else and allow them to love me, and so I think that's probably what I was looking for the whole time, but didn't know it. So think twice, because you may end up dealing with it for the rest of your life.
Eye on the village from Tokyo, WAKITA.
So yeah, I'm going to go back to Canada in a couple days. It's going to be weird. I'm going to have to deal with the, oh, you were hostessing, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, some girls, you know, they come to make money, but then they forget kind of we why call they it came. lose the plot. You come here to make money for whatever reason, traveling, school, and then I think some girls kind of forget why they came, and they end up spending a lot of their money on drugs and partying. And, I mean, they're having fun, which is good. You know, it's good to work hard and have fun. But I think I've learned, like, I have a lot of strength. You know, when I realized that my body wasn't doing well drinking, I stopped. And even though sometimes it is easier to drink, I was like, no, you know. Tokyo can be a little crazy at times, you know, with the nightlife and things like that. And girls kind of leave here a little bit different than when they came.
Oh, there you go. Very nice.
I gotta get myself a pair of these before I go home.
Yeah, definite souvenir. It'll be difficult to go back into, you know, make minimum wage or even above minimum wage. It'll just be so much more difficult.
Yeah.
When you get paid at the end of the month and you're just like, wow.
Any advice that I would give to a new hostess is that they know themselves really well, because a lot of girls come and they just can't do it. Just be strong and to know that money isn't the end-all be-all of the world. You know, you did come to make money, but you also have yourself to go home with.